problem that lots of people have with IoT is that they want to connect something to their app, and usually in order to do that they need to buy their own gateway that comes with it, right? And then they say, hey, that works great. I want another thing to be connected. So they get another thing in another app and another gateway. And so they keep having to overlay network on top of network on top of network, and all of the benefits that you get from all the IoT devices you lose because it costs so much with all the gateways. And the performance for all of them obviously suffers. So we took a different approach. We said, starting from the bottom up, we're going to build a network that can talk multiple languages. So you have an access point that does Wi-Fi. We also added Bluetooth, low energy, and Zigbee into it. So now you have all three of those technologies. And now with that network, we can connect to a whole bunch of things from different vendors. And they all can come into our IoT controller and go to a single API, which you can then control in dashboard. So that's what you see here. We have things like window sensors and temperature and humidity sensors and leak detectors, and we've got a smart building KNX system where you've got a bunch of dumb devices like switches and light bulbs and other devices in a building, and then we connect all those things into our controller to do smart things with them. We also can do connected entry, asset tracking, and a whole bunch of other use cases. So let's see it in action. So, for example, the Bluetooth, this is a temperature monitor as well as a light sensor coming from BLE. At the same time, we've got a temperature and humidity sensor coming from Zigbee. So again, it's technology agnostic. If you want to do things like, you could look at the window alarm. This would go on your window. This says the window's open. Yes, so we got a trigger that said the window's open. And then we close the window, and the window closes. So again, multiple devices from different manufacturers all coming into a single controller, which can then be dashboarded together here. Similarly, if you look at the lock up here, you push a switch and you see the lock closes. Now, why would you want a switch connected to a lock? You wouldn't, but it's a demo, so that's what we do. And again, the idea is you've got a switch connected to KNX, which is, again, dumb building automation. That trigger goes through the bridge into our IoT controller, and then the IoT controller says, I see a trigger has come from the KNX bus. I know that trigger means open the lock. So again, you push the button, and it triggers an action, and when that action also triggers, you'll see that the lock state changes as well. So that's kind of what we're doing here with the IoT Suite. Again, multiple technologies, multiple manufacturers all aggregated together into a single controller, which you can then dashboard on a single pane of glass. Now, at the same time you're doing these type of things, you can also use BLE. And BLE has traditionally been used for location-based services. So you can have a map, you have a forklift. These things are assets that are moving around a factory or a hotel or a school. And you can set up these blue geofences, so when a particular asset goes into a particular zone, it can act as a trigger as well. So when that forklift goes into a particular zone, it could say something happens, and that thing can happen then. And you can also, again, have these nice clean dashboards. This one's done with a partner of ours called Contact.io. Again, you could have a bunch of asset tags, and when you're in your building, some of them will be employee tags, some of them will be contractors, some of them are visitors, and the visitors are restricted from going into particular areas. So again, you can set up these zones, and if a visitor tries to go into that zone, it can send an alert somewhere. You could also have, environmental controls, right? So you've got a bunch of these sensors all over measuring temperature, humidity, the air quality, and you can have those checked. And again, you can have all of this information all fed back into a dashboard. So this is kind of showing the BLE location-based services, as well as, again, the sensors and the switches, and so you bring it all together and you have the Ruckus IoT Suite.